Hey, so we got some interesting news today. Didn't I tell you it'd be a good week for news? I have a good sixth sense about these kind of things. And according to, and I've been told it's pronounced this way, Thurrott.com, there's some more details about Microsoft, one of the Xbox Scarlet's other consoles, right? So we know that there's going to be one main system that's going to be like a super powerful piece of hardware, and there's also going to be another system, and we've got some information on this other system, and so it's kind of cool stuff. And I will link the article, of course. Brad Sams was the one that uncovered this stuff, and he says he was able to uncover some info, and he was able to dig up some tiny bits of content about how Microsoft is delivering its next generation consoles. That's right, consoles. So first, Microsoft is building a traditional console that you would expect from the Xbox brand. He said he thinks it's important to point out this so that those who prefer to have all their hardware locally will have an option with the next-gen Xbox. As for the specs of the device, he doesn't know per se. It's still the early days of development for that piece of hardware, but he's starting to hear more about it. Is the second device, which is a quote-unquote streaming box that is designed to work with the company's upcoming game streaming platform. Scarlet Cloud, as one person called it, is the game streaming service that we've all been envisioning ever since Microsoft showed off a demo game streaming at its all-employee meeting back in 2013. I remember this because they were playing Halo 4 on a cell phone, but at the time Microsoft was having latency issues. So Microsoft has a path to actually bring this to market. The second console that the company is working on is a lower powered device that is currently planned to ship within the next generation devices that is designed for game streaming. But the catch here is that Microsoft thinks it has figured out how to handle the latency sensitive aspects of gaming. They said that the cloud console will have a limited amount of compute locally for specific tasks like controller input, image processing, and importantly, collision detection. The downside of this is that since it is more hardware is needed locally, it will raise the price of the streaming box, but it will still cost significantly less than what we are accustomed to paying for a new generation console, which should help expand the platform's reach. And that is a very important part, as Microsoft doesn't typically make much money on the hardware sales, but do on things like Xbox Live, Game Pass, and game sales. So if Microsoft can create a next-gen console that requires lower upfront payment and longer subscription payments, remember all the games will run in the cloud, so you will need to pay something to access them. So obviously, if they're all cloud streaming games, you're not going to own anything. It's just going to be streaming, so you're likely going to have to pay Xbox Live and Xbox Game Pass. So everybody will be paying, roughly almost $200 a year just in these two services to be able to play some of these games. Not to mention, if you want to stream other games, I'm sure you're going to have to pay for those as well. So obviously, it's very interesting stuff. If Microsoft can create a next-gen console that requires this type of thing, it's going to be weird. This is a huge win for Microsoft, according to Brad Samso. The portion of the game that runs locally, some have referred to it as a slice or splice, means that the game is running in two locations at the same time and utilizes Microsoft's cloud to stitch it all together. The benefit here is that Microsoft's cloud platform reaches around the globe with data centers in every major market. This makes streaming the game platform available globally, but this also likely means that it can run off any type of device. Of course, Microsoft would love you to buy their hardware, but the company's end goal is that you can access Xbox, quote-unquote, from any device, anywhere, and Scarlet Cloud is looking to deliver on this idea. So one person familiar with the plan said this may reduce latency in all aspects of the game as well. If a multiplayer game is using Azure as its central server, Scarlet Cloud console will be closer physically to the multiplayer server, resulting in less latency. When it comes to games, all Scarlet games will run on all Scarlet devices, meaning both consoles will be first-class citizens, and there's not to be expected to be this awkward, this game only runs on non-cloud Scarlet. So the cloud version of Scarlet is further along in the development cycle than the traditional console that will also be released in 2020. This device does not make me wonder if it has any relationships to the Xbox Hobart streaming device that was nearly released 2 years ago but was canceled late in the development cycle. So they're very confident in this, and it's a very interesting thing, and I would love to hear you guys' thoughts and opinion on it. I'm not a big cloud streaming fan. I don't think this is a big deal for me personally. As long as I always have my option for my local hardware, I'm happy. But again, I will link it. Let me know what you think. Rack 'em up. Crapgamer out.